The adventures of the new Martian Manhunter continued this week with the release of Absolute Martian Manhunter number 6. If you haven't been keeping up with this radical new series, seriously, why haven't you? Then allow me to briefly summarise the first 5 issues. In the Absolute universe, the Martian Manhunter isn't from Mars. He's 2 separate beings that have formed a partnership. The first is FBI agent John Jones, part of the Bureau's Stochastic Terror Division. He investigates potential terror attacks that seem to be random acts of violence. During one of his investigations, he was caught in a bombing of a cafe where he was the only survivor. Turns out that he had been selected by an interdimensional entity that called itself the Martian, in the sense that it is an alien, and it saved Jones. It proposed that they form a partnership to work together to investigate the rise in violence and intolerance on Earth. As part of this deal, Jones now has psychic powers, where he can see plumes of colourful smoke emanating from people's heads. When he breathes the smoke in, he can see their thoughts, which is very useful when conducting his investigations. To date, he has intervened in a mass shooting, a series of arson attacks, and a wave of violence brought about by a heat wave. However, his dedication to his work took a toll on his personal life. His wife Bridget grew increasingly frustrated with how distant he had become. During the heatwave, everything came to a head, and Bridget told him to leave. Meanwhile, the Martian discovered another entity interfering with the minds of the people, a being it called the White Martian. It was deliberately pushing people into committing acts of violence, taking everyday, otherwise normal people and pushing them to do things they'd never normally do. It thrived on bringing out people's dark sides, and its scheme culminated in a citywide blackout. The last issue ended on a cliffhanger. Jones was struck by an ambulance driven by a White Martian agent planning to perform surgery. Bridget was threatened by a dog-murdering psychopath, and the Martian uncovered the true orchestrator of the chaos, Darkseid. When this issue picks up, Jones is moments away from having his head severed from his body, while Bridget comes face to face with the infamous dog killer. Like many psychopaths, he had started out killing small animals while he built up his confidence, and he is here to kill her and her son Tyler. Bridget isn't a damsel in distress though, as she blows the dog killer's head off with a shotgun. You'd think that would be the end of the matter, but he is so utterly corrupted by Darkseid and his minions that he's not even human anymore. His head gets replaced with a bright white orb, similar to the White Martian, as he looms over his intended victims. The series had made a very specific point of showing people's heads clouded with white smoke when they were under the influence of the White Martian, but now it has escalated to a white orb. Jones can see the events unfolding reflected in the head of one of the White Martian's other cronies, indicating that they're all connected like some sort of hive mind, but he feels powerless to do anything about it. All Bridget and Tyler can do is evade the dog killer for as long as they can. Jones has seemingly given in to despair, and feels that he no longer has any control over what's happening. The fact that he was hit by a speeding ambulance likely didn't help things either. However, the Martian refused to give up as he encouraged Jones from within his mind. The problem was that Jones tried to face everything alone, and when the task became overwhelming, he fell into despair. The secret to saving himself and his family is to open his eyes, acknowledge that he is overwhelmed, and ask for help. Once he does this, the Martian is able to break free and makes short work of the lunatics. This contrasts neatly with the dog killer, who taunts Bridget and Tyler by claiming the secret of life is that we're all alone and that no one can help us. He argues that we should give in to despair, free ourselves and lose our inhibitions, because ultimately, nothing matters. But in reality, the opposite is true. We all live in a shared world with similar life experience. Those that go it alone can struggle, and this comic argues that the path to safety and prosperity is through love and cooperation, not hate and bitterness. Armed with this knowledge, Jones and the Martian can fight the forces of the White Martian. Jones in the real world and the Martian in the metaphysical. The fight between the two entities is described as more metaphorical than literal, even though people seem to be able to see it playing out. I guess it's taking place in their mind's eye rather than their literal eye. We're shown how both entities make use of people's internal anxieties and thoughts. The White Martian summons a giant tumor from a young cancer patient's dreams, and the Martian defeats it by looking into the mind of a girl who is going to develop a treatment for that cancer in the future. When the White Martian manifests an aging hippie's fear of atomic weapons, the Martian invokes that same hippie's belief that the army is incompetent, and it turns into a dud. This whole battle is a result of people's insecurities, the fears that they hide from other people, and their feelings of impotence. But there's more to people than that. The conflict is resolved when Jones and the Martian reveal to the crowd the beauty of each other's lives, the good stuff and the bad. Hate thrives when you reduce people down to things, but we are all complex individuals. And once the people of Middleton acknowledge this, breathing in the colourful smoke of each other's lives, the fighting stops and they weep. This allows the Martian to strike the killing blow, seizing a crescent moon and wielding it as a scimitar to end the eternal night. But while Jones and the Martian focus their energies on resolving the conflict, the White Martian makes a contingency plan. Remember in the last issue how one of the White Martian's minions had been poisoning Choco cookies and then delivering them to grocery stores? While Bridget had told Tyler she wasn't going to buy them because they were unhealthy, Tyler found a packet dropped in the street and smuggled them home. While he was secured in his room, he ate the poisoned cookies. At first it looked like he was foaming at the mouth, but in reality it's the white smoke of the White Martian. This issue ends in a way that evokes the ending of the very first issue, where we are shown that the White Martian now inhabits Tyler, much in the same way that the Martian inhabits his father. If you have a physical copy of the comic, you can hold this specific page up to the light to see the White Martian lurking within Tyler's mind. Fortunately for digital readers, this time DC thought to simulate the effect by adding an extra page showing the combined images. If we compare the two images where the Martian was smiling and friendly, the White Martian sneers and looks like a demon. I feel like this is quite blunt commentary about the radicalisation of youth, of how hateful individuals, often out to line their own pockets, target the young, disaffected and troubled children that are looking to belong and have a purpose in life, can be seduced by the seemingly simple solutions those ideologies offer. But the reality is that life is layered, it's multifaceted, and this comic reminds us that even people that act like hateful little goblins are people too, with joy and pain and people that they care about. Some readers criticised this comic early on as an attack on white people, but that's a surface level take, looking at the pictures without considering the words, and this message makes me think that there's still hope for Tyler, so long as the relationship between him and the White Martian is anything like his father's and the Martian's anyway. They are a partnership. Any action taken requires willing participation on both sides. But do you think Tyler will resist the White Martian's influence, or is he doomed to become one of the world's biggest threats? I guess we'll have to see how things progress in future issues. Absolute Martian Manhunter number 6 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I just placed an order for several Deadpool Batman variant covers. Yes, I am part of the problem. You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read the issue, what did you think? I thought it was very touching how the Jones family reunited and John and Bridget managed to reconcile after their shared experience. John says that there'd be no more secrets between them, and I'd love to hear exactly how he explains his working relationship with the Martian. And am I the only one that wishes Martian vision was a thing in real life? God, it would make life so much easier. Finally, I can't be the only one that feels like the wait for issue 7, which is due to be released in December, is gonna be agonising, am I? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time, I'll be back soon with a video talking about Absolute Wonder Woman number 11, where Diana finds herself at the bottom of a deep pit within the labyrinth beneath Area 41, face to face with a mean-looking brute. Did I forget to mention that she was off her nut on hallucinogens? And next week I'll release 2 more videos about Absolute Comics. Up first we have Absolute Superman number 11, which follows up from the dramatic reveal at the end of issue 10, with Superman in Ra's al Ghul's clutches. Will the Man of Steel be able to resist turning to the dark side? Maybe we'll find out. And I'll also be talking about Absolute Green Lantern number 6, which may very well reveal what exactly has been going on in the town of Evergreen. I mean, unless half of the issue consists of flashbacks again, in which case it may still be a mystery. Hope to see you then.